All right, Golden Empire Part 3. One of the things I neglected to mention in the last video is that I don't know if this is, what the exact reason for this is. Um, Whether it's the way Damien is describing things, inspiring Kyle and I to be more visually descriptive with our actions, or if it's just Kyle and I playing off each other, or what the reason is. But we've been very cinematic in our descriptions of our actions during combats. Instead of, I hit him, it's, like in the battle against the dogs and birds over the elk carcass. At one point, Thunk dove over the elk carcass, come down and swung at two of the birds, taking them out. Well, took one of them out. The other one was only wounded. Yeah, you roll low sometimes. Anyways, but we've been very cinematic in our descriptions of combat, which is a really, really good thing. Because it means you're not so tied to the mat and the miniatures that are there. Miniatures are a very good thing. I will never say miniatures are not a good thing. They make combat so much better. But by getting as visual as possible with your descriptions of what you're doing, you're actually getting a better in your head and immersive experience, because you're seeing the fight happen as you describe it. If you've never done it, I can't explain it if you've never done it. But if you've done it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm very cinematic in our fights. And I just had to mention the whole diving over the elk carcass to, come down. Kind of proud of that one. But yeah, so the same day we managed to gather, remember, 1 pound of food and 1 gallon of water per person per day. There are 4 of us, and so we need 2 more gallons of water and either 4 pounds of food, or Jordan and Thunk are breaking out their rations for everybody. And we really don't want to do that. We harvested some meat from the elk, and we found some fruit along the way. This becomes important here later. Several pounds of fruit. We end up going to the river for water towards the end of the day. There's this whole issue with piranha in the water, and it ended up taking a chunk out of the sack, but thankfully Short Shot was able to use the mending spell to fix it. So everybody got their water ration, and I think, Thunk had, people probably don't know, but in the Middle Ages, when water skins were a thing, one of the most commonly used containers was a bladder from an animal. It was dried and tied up and watertight, and they stored liquids in bladders. So if you need to make a water skin in the wild, you're probably going to take the bladder of an animal, like, for example, an elk. But yeah, working on that. We ended up getting our water, camp, and those fuckers. Thunk set the meat that we had gotten to smoke and went to sleep. His watch was in the middle of the night. The plan was that everyone would eat a 1/2 pound of meat and a 1/2 pound of fruit. But those fuckers ate all the meat and left the fucking half-orc nothing but fruit to eat. Okay? The half-orc, who's the one that harvested the meat in the first place, ended up being left with the fucking fruit. Thank you, Jordan and Willow. This is not endearing Jordan to Thunk at all. He's an asshole. Still. Trials and tribulations. There was also a very tragic incident with a raccoon at one point. I wasn't awake for that, but apparently it was very traumatic for Willow because she killed a raccoon. I wouldn't have thought she had it in her. Not the whole, killing an animal, but the actual killing of the animal. Sorry, but Willow's been kind of useless with her bow. It gets better, but not yet. So we go on and we find the caves. Oh, yes, there was also an incident while Thunk was sleeping where Jordan talked to several goblins from apparently a different clan than the one that had attacked the city. Or maybe it was, I don't know, I don't remember. Jordan wasn't all that clear about it, but he talked to them about coming to negotiate with them, and we'd see them tomorrow. We're a couple miles away from the goblins' lair. Not really close, but not too far away to where it'd be more than, an hour or so march. When we camped. So the next day we go and find the cave. And there's nobody around at first. So we go in, and there's these wolves chained up in the first chamber. All right? 3 male wolves and a female wolf. And this is where Jordan and Thunk had a little bit of a clash. Jordan had been dictating tactics to Shortshot and Willow, and Thunk had no problem with that. Matter of fact, just to keep from having to talk too much, as long as Jordan's plans were good, Thunk was going to follow him just to, maintain the cover that he's just a big brute. So first the plan is to attack the wolves. And then the plan wasn't to attack the wolves. We're going to bypass the wolves. Well, at this point, Shortshot had fired his crossbow, and Thunk had thrown 2 axes, I believe. Hurt one of the wolves. And so suddenly Jordan's demanding that we go back, leave. We're not gonna fight these wolves right now. I think Willow had something to do with it. But Thunk was gonna go get his axes. Jordan was in the way. Thunk was about to walk over Jordan to go get his axes. Because Jordan is not the boss of Thunk. Jordan is a punk. He might be able to fight, but he's not Thunk's boss at all. Without a shadow of a doubt. This is about to come to a head when one of the wolves broke their collars, broke the chains, and it became a fight. And it became 3 dead wolves. But the mama wolf, with her puppies, we released her. The druid actually came in handy. She was able to speak with the wolf and, mama, and tell her it was going to be okay, and, allowed us to get the, maybe animal handling, allowed us to get the collar off and, free her and the pups. And Thunk took the 3 wolf corpses, skinned them, and harvested meat off them, started smoking the meat. Thunk at this point, Thunk was in charge of the hunting and provisions. Making sure that we got our gallon of water, pound of food every day. And I'm harvesting things from I got the 3 wolf belts, the elk belt. Uh, I think at least 2 bladders to turn into water skins. But gladly making survival rolls on that instead of trying to read up online or something to figure out how to do it. Yeah, let's just roll a survival check on that. And okay, it looks like I'm out of time. So, yeah, we freed the mama wolf, killed the other wolves, and we're at the entrance to this goblin cave. See you next time.